Are we not as safe because the state of California is trying to balance its budget? Police say they had no choice. They were forced to release hundreds of inmates early because the state can't afford to keep them locked up. Now, one judge, he even calls the release a formula for disaster. Could be right. One of these criminals allegedly assaulted a woman just hours after being let out. I want your thoughts on this. 1-877-TEL-HLN's the phone number. Join the conversation on Facebook as well. And joining us to talk about this, Anita Kay, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, sex crimes prosecutor, San Bernardino County, and she practices in Orange County where some of these inmates are being released. I'm telling you, it sends a chill down my spine. I'm sure some of our viewers as well, Anita, when we see this, someone let out early and then within hours they're assaulting someone. It sounds dangerous. Your thoughts on this? Well,
Mike, it does. But the problem is, here in California, we are in dire financial straits, and the prison system is so expensive to maintain. But what a lot of people don't realize is when someone's sent to prison, and let's say it's a 10-year sentence, a lot of people think they're going to do 10 years. People have always been given credits in prison. It may differ, and now they're getting more credits, and depending on the type of crime they're convicted of, but people are very rarely doing their full sentence.
Right. And the goal here, Anita, let's clear this up, was for low-level, we're talking drug possession, non-violent people. But you look at the guy in Sacramento who allegedly tried to rape someone. His original arrest was assault. He took a broom handle to a family member, broke a nose. That's the kind of person that can't be let out early, right?
Right. And the problem is, when you're doing something like this, sure, it's for non-violent offenders, drug offenders, maybe people who are, stealing cars or stealing property, things like that. But like anything else, things are going to slip through the cracks based on what they're charged with. And if they're charged with a misdemeanor or a felony or what was their prior crime. So people are going to get released that maybe we would all look at and say, hey, wait a second, this is not the person who should be released early.
Yeah, that's what I'm sure concerns so many. What's at the core? Is this, because you have maybe a violent offense that's pled down and then that original crime is lost in the shuffle, and I think that's what can be somewhat scary. Here's a couple of Facebook comments on this. Shelby writing, California is just asking for people to get hurt or even worse, killed. One other one. This is from Alan writing, dumb. You do the crime, you pay the time. They're doing this because they're cheap. And that's at the heart of this. Is it worth balancing a budget to sacrifice safety? We'll take your calls, 1-877-TEL-HLN. We'll also keep you updated. Continuing our story, in California, inmates released early because it's just so expensive in California. They're trying to balance a budget. But yet there's a story out of Sacramento that one of these people released early went violent, allegedly tried to rape a woman. Your thoughts, 1-877-TEL-HLN's the phone number. Wendy Murphy's with us, attorney, victims' rights advocate. Wendy, you need a guarantee that this person does not have that violent root, right? We'll start there. Let's get your thoughts.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts about this, Mike, including that it's just false to say that you save a lot of money letting prisoners out because crime is expensive. It's not only dangerous, and no matter what your budget problems, public safety is thing one. You should cut in every other place before you let these people out, whether they're dangerous or not. But even if you just let out the thieves and the drug dealers, crime is expensive. Putting them back on the streets means spending a huge amount of new money in terms of public safety and police services and prosecution services and court services and so forth. So it's not really a cost saver. And get this, they said they wanted to save money by letting out a few thousand prisoners, right? Here's the deal. 20,000 prisoners in California are illegal from Mexico. 20,000. So here's a cost-saving measure. Build a prison with American dollars, plop it in Mexico, and send all 20,000 to live there or release them on the streets of Mexico. Isn't that a cost-saving measure? And by the way, they're not even citizens. I don't understand. Is this nonsense? It is political nonsense, which is even worse. To be doing this to the people who don't deserve to be exposed to dangerous criminals. They pay taxes so that we can lock them up.
Yeah.
This is a fraud on the public.
Safety is number one. Let me read a statement. This is from California Senator George Runner saying that releasing supposed nonviolent felons early from prison is a dangerous idea. Unfortunately, this belief was proven correct last week, and he's going to refer to the story I've been talking about, when within 24 hours of the state law going into effect, an early release prisoner attempted to rape a woman. Anita, and the quotation there is supposed nonviolent. How are you going to get a guarantee in this case that these people, again, that their root offense is not violent?
You're not going to get a guarantee. That's the problem. Because as you mentioned earlier, Mike, they could have been pled down to something of a lesser charge. So when they're being released, nobody's looking at the police report saying, hey, I think this was a violent crime. They're looking at perhaps what they pled to, as well as what's in their background. You know, if they may have violence in their background, but that's not currently what they're incarcerated for, and there are no prior strikes that have been alleged, so they're not in prison on a prior strike. And the other thing I want to mention, Wendy's absolutely right. Here in California, if you're an illegal immigrant and you convict a crime, we will send you to prison here, and we will pay for it. After you serve your term, then you will be deported. So we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on people that shouldn't be here in the first place.
Yeah, another angle on this. A couple of Facebooks, Robin and Lou writing, you cannot put a price tag on criminals. Back to Wendy's point, safety first. Tanya writing, then we have to pay more money to catch them after they reoffend. So some astute viewers chiming in on Facebook. Ladies, wish we had more time. Got to run. Thanks so much, Wendy, Anita.
You bet.
Coming up,